Jade, Billy! Billy,
Patient Zero, Resident Evil, How It All Began. The new Resident Evil series debuted on Netflix on the 14th of July, and it is full of zombies, monsters and gore, just how fans love it. This new series centers around the story of two twins, Billie and Jade Wesker, daughters of Albert Wesker, growing up in Umbrella territory. The series follows Jade as she fights through zombie hordes in the years 2036 and beyond, accompanied by flashbacks of how the zombie outbreak started all the way back in 2014 when she and her sister explored the secrets of the Umbrella Corporation. One of the biggest unexplored questions in this entire Resident Evil franchise is, who was Patient Zero? Well, this new season has the answer. Keep watching to know all about the virus and how the outbreak really began. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you liked our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How did the virus come to be? We can't delve into the details of the virus without first talking about the Umbrella Corporation itself, the entity responsible for creating it. As the show opens, it is clear that the Umbrella Corporation is massive and wields major power, having entire cities and towns under its jurisdiction. Albert Wesker is introduced to us in the very first episode, and we come to know that he is a high-ranking Umbrella employee who is tasked with developing various medicines and drugs. The main drug in development is one called Joy, which aims to help people with anxiety, depression and suicidal tendencies. However, the development of this drug takes a dark turn. Umbrella Corporation begins testing the drug on animals like rats and rabbits, only to find that the drug was having unprecedented results. It was making these animals feral and driving them crazy. Their fur was desiccating and turning them into some sort of undead. Now, one would think that seeing these results they would keep researching and developing the drug instead of insisting on a quick rollout. However, big companies have always run behind profit, and so does the CEO of the Umbrella Corps, Evelyn Marcus. Evelyn Marcus essentially oversees Umbrella. Although Evelyn is a newcomer to the Resident Evil universe, her father, James Marcus, made appearances in a number of games, including Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil: The Umbrella Chronicles. James was one of the founding members of the Umbrella Corporation and assisted in the conception of the T-Virus in the Resident Evil television adaptation. However, after he was fired from the business, his daughter Evelyn is now driven to avenge what was taken from her family, to follow in his footsteps and to advance the T-Virus. She insists that the drug be rolled out irrespective of the dubious side effects. However, things get far worse when another terrifying incident comes to light. A video of the human trials of the drugs conducted in Tijuana surfaces, showing disastrous results. Feral men and women, blood everywhere, and utter chaos, showing that the drug had driven them crazy, turned them into something inhuman. Evelyn is quite certain that she can utilize the virus to eradicate conditions like anxiety and despair from the earth. However, Evelyn is unable to hear reason because of a psychopathic, avaricious and compulsive personality. And despite numerous warnings from Albert that Joy and the T-Virus might kill millions, Evelyn persists in her mission. Evelyn believes it is best to proceed with Joy despite the dire adverse effects warnings, even if doing so means it will only be advantageous to Umbrella Corporation. The side effects showed much faster in animals than it did in humans, and towards the end of the series it becomes clear that one of the things which was part of the cocktail of chemicals used in the Joy drug was a strain of the T-Virus, which was a compound used in one of the Umbrella Corporation's bioweapon creations for the US military. Thus, the virus was quite knowingly put out into the world by the Umbrella Corporation. But what they thought was a secure facility turned out to not be so secure, and the virus got out. How does the virus work? The virus originally spread through the Joy pill because the pill contains strains of the T-Virus. The T-Virus was part of the biological weapon being created for the United States, a strain of which was put in the Joy pill. This was tested on both animals and humans. The animals displayed a change in their behavior immediately by becoming feral, violent, and displaying brute strength. The humans exhibited these characteristics after a 3-day period. The contagion occurs when the people who take these pills become feral and bite other people. Billie Wesker was the first human to get it through a dog bite when she broke into the facility with her sister. Thus, the virus transmits to the bite of the people who have been administered the drug. Who is Patient Zero? At the beginning of the season, we are introduced to Billie Wesker, a quiet and reserved young woman in 2022 who finds it difficult to blend in at New Raccoon City. She has a kind heart and will even go out of her way to try and mend fences with the bully at school in an effort to fit in. Her compassionate nature turns out to be her undoing. Billie contracts the T-virus after researching if Umbrella uses animals in its testing. While it doesn't kill her, unlike other people, it drastically alters her personality, and by 2036, Billie has evolved into a harsh, cold person who resembles Evelyn in many ways. However, what is most shocking is that she is human patient zero, the only surviving human with the virus. This is her story. We follow twin sisters Billie and Jade Wesker, and at the outset it is quite evident that Billie is a little different from the rest. She has had a violent streak in her past which led her to be perceived as a psycho by people around her, especially her classmates and friends. We see this violent and antisocial behavior repeated as she tries to adjust in her new school. We get to know that she is a vegan and has a soft spot for animals. But unfortunately, it is this soft spot that starts a series of unfortunate events. Billie convinces her sister Jade to break into the Umbrella facility to get evidence of animal testing so that they could showcase Umbrella's ugly truth to the world. They stake their father's keycard to the facility, record his voice, and prepare to break in. They manage to bypass all the fancy security systems, and with no human guards, because, well, the facility depended more on artificial intelligence and machines for security over real, live human beings. Once inside, they start looking for the rabbits Billie has seen earlier when she had come to visit her father. They finally locate the animals, and as Billie takes pictures of them all, stumble upon a heavily secured and locked cage with growling noises coming from within. Out of the kindness of heart and fearing that an animal was trapped within, they managed to open up the cage. However, they were absolutely not prepared for what was inside. Inside was a feral dog that lunged out at them with drool dripping everywhere, snarling and growling. The dog was clearly not okay and was visibly sick due to whatever tests had been conducted on it. They tried calming it down, but to no avail, and the dog started chasing them. They ran in fear of the feral dog, but it was insanely strong and agile, as it practically hunted them down through the maze of the corridors. They tried blocking it and evading it, but to no avail. At one fateful moment, the dog lunged at Billie and tore into her shoulder, gnawing away at her flesh. Blood started gushing out of her wound as she screamed out in pain, and her sister, Jade, watched on in horror. This was the beginning of a transformation. What followed was a time of absolute turmoil for poor old Billie. Their father stepped in to protect the two of them from the wrath of the Umbrella Corporation and managed to keep the bite a secret from the higher-ups. However, the virus had already been transmitted from the dog to Billie, and she began experiencing debilitating symptoms. Her body began shaking, and having lost a lot of blood, she was extremely sick. They could not take her to the hospital to keep the bite a secret, and thus their father stitched up the injury at home. However, she started experiencing changes in her behavior and physicality. She became easy to anger, violence, and even began puking blood at various points. At this point in time, her sister Jade begins to get worried and decides to investigate the root cause of the illness that had overtaken her sister. She connects with a journalist from halfway across the world after bypassing the cyber wall set up by the Umbrella Corporation with the help of Simon, her classmate, and also Evelyn's son. The journalist tells Jade about human trials conducted by the Umbrella Corporation, and she gets increasingly worried about her sister.
I've been looking into Umbrella's health and safety violations for years. Okay? People die there.
We watch as Billie's condition gets worse and worse. At one point, she also assaults a biker on the street as he tries to take away her dog. They get more and more worried as they find out that at the 72-hour mark, humans usually change into an inhuman creature because of the virus. However, by some miracle and lots of genetic engineering, Billie does not transform into a zombie as her body successfully fights off the virus cells. What genetic engineering, you may ask? It turns out that Albert had genetically modified both the girls when they were just embryos to give them a better shot at life, an added edge, if you may. It is highly likely that due to this, Billie's immune system was able to fight off the virus. However, the cogs start rotating in the umbrella machinery as Evelyn realizes that something fishy is going on. They capture the journalist that Jade was talking to on the internet and hold him hostage, torturing him for information. To protect his daughters, Albert kills him, which leads to Evelyn imprisoning him in a cell and all hell breaks loose. It is the third day after Billie gets bitten, and in the final episode, we see her turn and give in to her symptoms. Back at the house, Billie starts to turn, pounces on Roth, knocks him to the ground and orders Jade to leave.
Go. What? No! Get up!
When Evelyn sees Billie, she finally realizes that she was the one who had been bitten all those episodes before. Evelyn lists all of Billie's symptoms and makes the decision to be honest with her. She also asserts that no one else is able to assist. Billie agrees with Evelyn's request, even though it comes out that she is infected but isn't changing. Jade, in the meantime, goes to visit Simon, whose mother is happily preparing supper while high on joy. Not purposely, though, Evelyn was secretly drugging his own wife. In a private conversation with Simon, Jade spills the beans regarding the joy pills. When Simon calls Evelyn, she confesses to having drugged him, but only for the purpose of keeping their family together. Simon avoids Evelyn and assists Jade in getting into the laboratories, which are still incredibly unsecured. Given that Billie escapes from her bed, murders one of the doctors, and then lashes out at Evelyn. Bert, Albert's twin, yes, that is whole another story, arrives just as things start to go awry and assists in calming her down and getting her to stop seeing things. When Jade and Simon catch up, they see Bert and Billie waiting for them. They all leave the room, but sadly Evelyn and her security guards are still inside. Evelyn gets a massive shock as she watches Simon become ill after being bitten viciously by Billie. Evelyn is aghast when she observes this, but she ultimately shoots her son in the head. Hey, do you recall the jogger Billie scratched in episode 2? He is also infected, right? Who knows, he is never again mentioned in this season. However, this confirms one thing. Billie Wesker, daughter of Albert Wesker and twin sister of Jade Wesker, is quite definitely patient zero. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.